Hi one and all, Mallu Medic here. So today we are looking at the animal kingdom, which is a chapter in plus one zoology. So we have already completed the plant kingdom, so I hope you have some idea about that. So first we have to deal with the divisions of the animal kingdom. So when we learned about the plant kingdom, we spoke about divisions, right? Like division, algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, etc. But here, instead of the term division, we use the term phylum. And we have about 11 phylums like phylum Porifera, Cnidaria, Ctenophora, Platyhelminth, and the list continues. You have to learn the names of this phylum in this descending order because this is also the order of evolution. So we assume that the Cnidarians have developed from the Porifera, or the characteristics, or not in that manner, or the characteristics of Cnidarians are superior to that of Porifera, which is before that. Alright, so you have to learn these names first hand. Fine. So if that is said, then we'll look into the basis of classification. So why do we need to classify these organisms? Suppose a scientist finds a new animal roaming around. So suppose it's an insect. So how do we classify that? Can we group it with animals? Can we group with it with humans? No, it has to put with other type of insects. So they share a common things between them. So that's the thing. So we have to classify the organisms. So we have minor criteria for classifying organisms and major criteria for classifying organisms. So these minor criteria are not given as such in the NCERT text, but you need to know. You need to know about this because you get a lot of new terms which are there in your NCERT text. So let's see one by one. So first one, mode of habitat. So based on the mode of habitat, how are the animals divided? They are divided into aquatic and terrestrial, which means the animals which live in water are aquatic and the animals which roam in the land are terrestrial. And aquatic are further divided into marine and freshwater. Marine are those which are seen in the seawater, and freshwater those seen in lakes, ponds, etc. The freshwater animals are again divided into pelagic and benthic. So pelagic are those animals or the fishes or any sort of animals which are found at the surface, whereas benthic are those which are found at the bed of the water body, for example at the deep portion. So that's all about the mode of within the mode of habitat. So let us now see the classification based on the mode of nutrition. So based on nutrition, we have four classification. The first one being holozoic. Holozoic means the food particle is taken as such. Alright, the degglutination or degglutination means swallowing. So the animals which swallow the food as such. For example, we humans are an example. Then we have something called saprozoic. So what does saprozoic means? Saprozoic are those animals which feed on dead and decayed body. Okay. And then we have parasitic. Parasitic means like it lives on some host. Alright, host means it lives on another organisms and exploit them for its needs. Okay, we have two types of parasitism, ectoparasite and endoparasite. If the parasite lives on the body of the host, then we call it as ectoparasite. Endoparasite means it lives inside the body of the host. Alright, for example, for the ectoparasite is the lice that you have on the in your hair or upon your scalp or head. Endoparasites are those parasites which live inside the body. Alright, Then we have, based on nutrition, we have a fourth division called symbiotic. Symbiotic is nothing other than the it's actually the it's a beneficial type of nutrition. Both the host and the organisms which stays with that are benefited. Okay, it's a cooperation. An example for this is lichen. Fine, that completes the classification based on mode of nutrition. Now, based on the mode of type of food, we have classifications like sangivorous. Sangivorous means the blood sucking animals. They consume our blood. Mosquitoes, leech are examples. Then we have frugivorous. Frugivorous means they consume fruits. Then we have carnivorous. Carnivorous means they're meat eating animals. Then we have examples like caprophagous. Caprophagous means they consume their own excreta or their own feces. Okay, an example is rabbit. Quite astonishing, right? Yes, they have their own excreta or waste products. Then we have cannibals. Cannibals are those animals which eat its own species. For example, if a human eats another human, we call him a cannibal, but we are not cannibals in general. Alright. An example for cannibals are the spider, king cobra, etc. Alright. Then you have granivorous, which means seed eating animals. Then folivorous, which are the leaf eating animals. Folivorous, leaf eating. Okay, so that completes based on the mode of type of food. Then based on the mode of reproduction, we have asexual type of reproduction and sexual type of reproduction. Alright, now we have also within the mode of reproduction type of fertilization. Okay, what is fertilization? It's the fusion of male and the female gametes, right? So it can be either external fertilization or internal fertilization. So what about humans? We are having internal fertilization. The male sperm and the female ovum or egg are fused within the body of female. Am I right? So we call it as internal fertilization. External fertilization is the vice versa. Now, based on the mode of development, we have direct development and indirect development. Okay, so what do you mean by indirect development? It's the development which requires metamorphosis. And what does this mean? Metamorphosis means it requires the formation of larva, and then larvae develops to form the adult organisms. But what about us humans? We have direct type of development. Now, mode of sex. So, the classifications of mode of sex are, the first one being monoecious. These terms are new to you, so please learn them. Monoecious, or we also call it as hermaphrodite, or another term we call it bisexual. So these are the organisms which have both the male and female reproductive system within them. Alright, they are called monoecious, hermaphrodite or bisexual. Then the opposite one, like we call it as dioecious, or which shows sexual dimorphism. Another term we call it by unisexual, which means this organism has only one type of sex in that. For example, we humans, we are either male or female. We don't have male and female reproductive system within a single person. You understand this? Alright, now let us discuss based on the mode of young ones. So there are oviparous. Oviparous means giving birth, laying eggs. So you have seen the birds laying eggs, right? So that's the manner how they produce their young ones. Then we have another example, viviparous. We humans are viviparous. We deliver the baby, right? The mother delivers the baby. There is another one category. It's also called as ovoviviparous. Here, the mother gives birth to the young one, but the young one has a shell around that. So we call it as ovoviviparous. Examples are shark, viper racelli. Viper racelli is a type of snakes. You will learn that afterwards. And now that completes the mode of young ones. And then we have based on the mode of types of digestion. It can be either intracellular digestion or extracellular digestion. So in which category do we belong? We belong to extracellular category. How do we understand this? Intracellular means digestion happens within the cell. Means the food particles engulfed or taken by the organism moves into the cell and digest over there. But in us humans, we have some structure, sophisticated organs like stomach. So within stomach, digestion takes place in humans and not within cells. So in lower type of organisms, it takes within cells. Now, based on the nature of regulation of body temperature, we have poikilothermic and hemothermic type of organisms. Hemothermic and poikilothermic. So, poikilothermic are those organisms which are cold-blooded organisms. But hemothermic are warm-blooded. Moreover, they are able to regulate their body temperature. Alright. And now another classification is based on the mode of locomotion. It can be flying type like the birds, crawling type like snakes, running type. Alright, those are the just classification. And then we have based on the mode of excretion. We have three types of organisms. They are either ammonotelic or ureotelic or uricotelic. So what are these? Those animals which secrete ammonia as their waste product are called as what? Ammonotelic organism. Now ureotelic are those organisms which secrete urea as their waste product, and uricotelic are those organisms which secrete uric acid as their excretory product. So I hope you are getting the concept. I'll give you some examples. We are ureotelic. Humans are ureotelic. Birds are ammonotelic. Ammonotelic and uricotelic. I'll give you an example, which are the cockroach. They are uricotelic. Alright. Now, let's move on to the last type of classification in minor, which is the mode of respiration. We have some respirations like bronchial respiration. This is the respiration through gills. So here I will be writing the respiratory organ involved. Okay, it happens in fishes, right? Yes. Then we have another type of respiration, cutaneous, which is through the skin. It happens in earthworms, etc. Then we have buccal respiration, which means through the mouth. We also call it as, and the organ is buccopharyngeus. Call it as buccopharyngeal. These terms are new to you. Please try to learn them. Then we have tracheal respiration. Alright, it's through trachea. And then finally we have pulmonary respiration. We humans have pulmonary respiration, it's through the lungs. So that completes the type of classification based on this minor criteria.